I don't know. I don't know, but we should be in match in just a couple of minutes here, so sit back and enjoy the show. So, since it's 12v12, I sort of don't really expect to see a lot of ridge play, just because 8v8 you can definitely get everybody over pretty easy, but 12v12 it's a little bit tight. You can do it if you make a good push, but if they happen to be on the other side, you can get cut down pretty fast coming over that ridge. So we'll see. In a lot of competitive matches, you tend to see more of this area used than you do in pug matches, and frankly I think that's good. Frankly, I think that's a better part of the map than most of the map. This is going to be Conquest on the first drop, so you probably are going to see, the team that spawns up here at Gamma, red team, basically, if they can just like hold these 3 points, do a quick cap on Epsilon, and then put a firing line on it, then they could be in pretty good shape. It's a decent defensive position. It's going to make the other team push. The other team's got options. Going through the tunnel, again, on 12v12 is pretty tight. Getting all your guys up and spread out. Coming out of this exit is a no-go. That's just way too tight to get through. Coming out the back and then, spreading out in the city, it takes a while, but you can do it. Not terrific options. Usually you just see an aggressive fight sort of around Epsilon, where one team will take the sometimes topside, sometimes underside, sometimes both. Sometimes they'll sit out in the water, a couple of dire wolves or other fire support mechs sitting there. That's what you saw in the Imperial SJR match that took place here this week. That was 8v8. So now I see both team captains in lobby. I gotta believe we're very close to launching. So for those unfamiliar with the rule set, first drop is 3 lights, 3 mediums, 3 heavies, 3 assaults. It is Conquest, and the lower ranked team, which is Antares Scorpions, will choose which side they want to be on. And then the loser of every round gets to pick the map side they want on each subsequent drop. It is only this map. Maps don't change between drops. And the second drop is going to be Skirmish, 720 tons, no class restrictions, you can build it however you want. And then after that, it's back to Conquest 3333, Skirmish, 600 tons is drop 4, and then if there is a drop 5, it is back to Conquest 333. You don't usually see anything get capped out or the match decided on caps. I believe there's still only been one instance where caps were the deciding factor. However, it does put pressure on teams to move, because they know that if they try to stalemate it, they will eventually lose. It forces action, and that was the purpose of this rule set. Shout out to Heimdallite and Vils, I think, also had a hand in these rules, taking advantage of Conquest to, on drop 1, 3, and 5 to force action if there's a tie, and using the other 2 rounds to get some diversity with Skirmish 700 or Skirmish at various tonnage. I'm going to be giving out tons of mech base tonight, so I'm just waiting for some more people to show up, but by tons I mean, like 5, 6, 7, who knows. Let's see what Twitch chat has to say. Almost good to go. Lobby's full. Jurassic World. I need to see that movie. I mean, it had the biggest Friday. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it can't be that bad, can it? Can it be Star Wars 1 bad? I don't think so. I think I could manage. Especially with that guy. What's his name? Chris Pratt. I feel like that's his name. Whatever it is, I feel like he's on his way to like being in a ton of different movies just all over the place, but he will never top Andy on Parks and Rec for me. That just pure stupid character, I think, is the best he's ever going to do. So, he's already peaked for me. That's what I think about that hype. Although dinosaurs, I mean, but really, hybrid dinosaur, that's it. It's best you can come up with. Whatever. As long as it looks cool. I guess I'm not a picky man. I did thoroughly enjoy Kung Fury. For anyone who has not seen Kung Fury, you should totally go check it out. It is a movie that's on YouTube for free. It's a half-hour long, and it is as 80s as you can possibly get. It is everything 80s ever. I mean, it's got the VHS tracking effect. It's got... Oh, it's great. Go watch it. It's also got a phenomenally 80s soundtrack. True Survivor by, how can I not think of that guy's name? We gotta go looking for this. David Hasselhoff, right? That guy. Who is in the opening scene, one of the most beautiful opening scenes I have ever seen. Oh my god! Russ Bullock is joining us in channel. That's crazy. Shout out to Russ. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys for putting some priority on the spectator client. Although I know it is a developer tool, I appreciate you guys giving it out to people so we can do this sort of thing. And it will be super nice when anybody can do this. There are just 2 slots in the lobby. We don't have to sort of watch the list like vultures and some of those other features that I hear coming down the pipe. Really good sounding, so awesome. Casey bails out before I get a chance. Well, I guess we should change to some more appropriate music for anyone. That was the Command and Conquer Red Alert and Red Alert 2 soundtrack. Red Alert 2, still one of my favorite games of all time. Some of those cheesy full motion video cutscenes, I mean... Those are the days. Still in lobby. Still holding out hope that we're gonna drop soon. Although, to be honest, I'm not. Somebody just messaged me in game, which is usually an indication that they're thinking about dropping. So, we're gonna hope so. Oh man, we might have a co-caster. Strap on your stupids, kids. Mav might be joining me. Now I gotta get on TeamSpeak. Try to make sure I don't miss this match.
Connected.
Terrible. Alright, so I'm gonna go to casting. I'm gonna drag Mav to casting.
User was moved to your channel.
Hey Mav, can you hear me? I don't see your mic flashing, so...
Can you hear me?
Oh, sweet. Now I hear you.
Yeah, here we go. Hey, bro. How are you doing, man?
Awesome. Well, you're on the air. Congratulations. Great. Thank you for giving me a co-caster, and I believe they just dropped in, so perfect timing.
All right, let's go do this.
I'm dropping on Mango Bogadog. Although you're in CSJ now, right?
I mean, I help out if they need an extra a player and stuff, yeah.
Okay, I did remember the overlay. Could have easily been forgotten, but alright, looks like the match has started. And it's going to be AS over here in red, and on the northern side of the map in blue, it is Clan Smoke Jaguar. They've got Direwolves, Timberwolves, Stormcrows, and Firestarters. So they're not switching it up. They're saying, doesn't matter about the nerfs, they're just going to go with it. Antares Scorpions, Firestarters, Stormcrows, Timberwolves, and Banshees, and one Hellbringer for ECM. AS scouting the ridge, and CSJ has taken the 2 cap points, I think Epsilon and Theta?
I'll be with you in just a sec. We'll see what's going. I mean, AS is really well known for their brawling tactics, and we know CSJ is really well known for their sniping tactics, so this could be a really, really interesting match here. See how it goes.
AS doing the back cap, it looks like that, or they're just aggressively pushing their fire starters. It didn't look like they took the cap, actually, but they are coming up the backside to take a peek. Maybe put some pressure on CSJ from behind. They've run into a firing line, though. No real damage taken. Antares Scorpions. Go ahead.
Oh, they're moving through the tunnel right now. You can see like Bowser and his Banshee moving up there. They're looking to get in their face as quickly as possible here. And you can see their Stormcrows also with their mixture of small pulses and SRM6s, like such as Neurotoxic here. I mean, this is a full brawling group. This is classic AS here.
And AS's heavies are going straight across the open. The Stormcrows are coming in from the back to support the Firestarters. This is very brawly, and I don't know if CSJ sees these heavies wandering across or if they're going to intercept early enough. They see them now. Lots of UAVs up.
This will really come down to the lights, whether or not they can scout well and they can get the information back to the main team or not. I mean, right now, Dario's being cut out on the river side.
AS is down 1.
Well, that's a really good positioning by CSJ here. You can see their Timberwolves and Direwolves at the back. They're just taking pot shots as they move into. I don't quite like their positioning on the north side of the map here. They're a little bit covered by the buildings, but so far on the right side where you see Passion and Direwolf coming down. Passion's doing a great number. They're focusing it down. He's down to 52% right now. Yeah,
now that the Banshees are in, it's getting heavy.
It is, but they've taken a couple out already. This is like 4 down for AS already, and only 3 down for CSJ.
5 down,
and they're
for
down.
6 down for AS. It looks like it is going CSJ's way slowly but surely here.
Now take a look at Xerix and the Stormcrow down to 41%. We've got Kafir and the Stormcrow down 26%. That's not good at all.
Yep, the remaining AS guys
down to 40.
Yep, they're balled up though, so it looks like they've got a shot if they can sort of regroup. They got Mango is super fresh in this Timberwolf. I'm gonna get in on him and watch if they can pull this out.
Yep, on the west side here we got Edge, Arn, and Solitude lining up together. They're supporting Death Metal here right now, and they're going to focus Neurotoxic. This doesn't look too good for AS.
Yeah, those Firestarters ready to pop. 1 shot in the back. Mango's got a lot of work to do though.
Look at Leo, he's still out. Oh, he just went down. He was at 28%. He basically took 1 more shot and he was it, but he almost lived that.
Absurdity in that fresh Stormcrow. I don't think they can pull this off, and sure enough.
Nope, that was some good work by CSJ there. They held off a very, very strong coordinated push by AS.
Yep, and you look at those damage numbers and you sort of see what happened there is perhaps the Firestarters engaged a little too early and didn't get enough work in. I know they were the distraction for that push, but they were in there way earlier than the rest of their guys were pushing. So looking at those damage numbers, I gotta question whether it was was worth it, but it did push him back into a corner.
But you
Lots
can
of good
also take
damage
a look at
numbers for AS.
CHA's fire starters. I mean, they were working quite well together. They went Solitude Iron there, managed to get 2 kills each. That's 4 kills. It's a quarter of the third of the team kills right there between those 2 guys. Plus Dario had been cut out early, but you know that's important information just to get it early. So you know he did a bit of a sacrifice, but it helped the team get prepared.
Yeah, well, definitely a close match. AS did a good job pushing there. It was a ballsy strategy, sort of taking a play out of SJR's book, where, you know, you saw them use that trick to great success against CSJ last week, where, you know, the first 2 matches, they just did this little light tap from behind, got CSJ looking the wrong way, and then slammed them with their main force.
Absolutely. In fact, in a way, you know, it seemed like AS probably thought they were approaching the weak side, the weak flank of CSJ, but actually they hit their strong side. And you could see the CSJ's famous direwolves just going to town. That was a great match. It'd be really interesting to look at the replays of this one.
Yeah, I'm watching this on stream as I update the match information here. But I also feel like AS's push got a little bit spread out there towards the end. Like you saw those 2 Stormcrows that were way down on health, way in front of the rest of their guys. And then, you know, they had a contingent of like 4 guys still grouped up. I think at some point that the push sort of got a little bit spread in places, and CSJ definitely took advantage. They held fast that entire time.
Well, yeah, maybe it was nerves. You know, it's the first match. It was delayed a little bit, and those Stormcrows, they're fast. I mean, they're 110-kilometer max. I mean, if you're not careful, you can sprint out in front of your firing line, leaving Banshees that Banshees are only moving on about 64 kps. You know, Darwolves are moving 51. I mean, you'll leave everyone right behind. So it's easy to do that when your nerves get better and you're not stagger stepping and slowing down, taking corners, repositioning, rechecking your mini map. It happens.
You know, and I am gonna bring up Map Tactic here. I will link it to you on Skype, I guess. Yeah. Let me know when you're in and I'll give you privileges. I should also probably bring up my friends list so we don't miss the second drop. Okay. So CSJ just did a good job setting up in the city. Sort of all over the place. Their lights did take Epsilon and Theta early. Meantime, AS's lights went all the way around and really started harassing them. Sort of pushed CSJ back behind to this area, which is exactly what they wanted, because they wanted that blind push coming in from below, from Charlie 4. More Stormcrows joined, and then the Banshees and Heavies made that up there.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see right at the A4 north side. That's where Dario first hit contact, and he got a great view. In fact, if you look quickly at the scoreboard, you saw that before he went down, he managed to get six assists. So he saw at least 6+ people of the team. So he could easily call out to the rest of his team exactly what they needed to do and where the position and so forth. And you saw back at Bravo 2 to Alpha 2 that the Timberwolves and the Darwolves were set back up for a push a little bit, probably more north of the Bravo 3 side there, right at the corner of the hill there, and that just created a nice kill lane. Anything coming towards them had 3-4 max that could basically zoom into them. And unfortunately, AS could only move in like 1-2 max staggered at a time. So that's not an ideal approach, especially when you're approaching something like a direwolf.
Yeah, and watching it on the replay here, you do see that push get spread out, and their Banshees just sort of arrived too late compared to like their Stormcrows and stuff. Those Banshees, you know, ended up focusing that direwolf for what seemed like, you know, 8 to 10 seconds there, and that was the only mech they had a lane on, and it wasn't really with the rest of their team. They were on the left. Their team, I don't know, got a little bit strung out, and I think that was the deciding factor. It was very close, though. You could see lots of mechs about to go down for CSJ. They really only had one fresh mech left.
Yeah, what an interesting choice of assaults here. I mean, recently we just had the latest patch, and we did quite a big buff to the AC5, to the autocannons, the ultra AC cannons, and regular autocannons from the clan side, and we're starting to see the resurgence of the use of the autocannons in clan max. And we are seeing, like, you know, dual AC10, Ultra AC10s, triple UAC5 Darbles out there, which are fantastic volume mechs that have really good heat efficiency. And yet you compare that to, say, a Banshee, which has very good constant DPS, you know, triple AC5s, you know, 3-4 medium lasers, or 2 large or 3 large lasers. That thing does great constant DPS, but it doesn't have the burst, and it doesn't have necessarily the same sustain as a Direwolf. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised that maybe Ace didn't consider taking the latest buffs and latest buffed autocannons in their Direwolves. I think that might have been a bit better for them.
Definitely. Those autocannon changes were sufficient to bring them out of the trash heap. You know, I don't know if they're a top tier weapon, but they're definitely something to consider now seriously, as opposed to something to just say, nah. When I tried out dual UAC 20 Warhawk, I had a hell of a lot of fun.
Definitely, there's definitely the fun factor there, but yeah, I'd have to say that they've been quite significantly buffed. Perhaps still not quite on par, you know, with the inner sphere autocannons, but they're definitely a different style. And certainly when you get you're pelted with multiple autocannon pellets. You know, even though they're not doing huge damage, but they make it difficult for return fire. They do a fair amount of damage over time. And that Daka Wolf, I mean, it's such a beast out there. But we're starting to see people play like Timberwolves with, you know, Ultra AC cannons. Light mechs are getting Ultra AC cannons. It's nice to see. It's really nice. In fact, I was actually playing in one of the summoners and just having a lot of fun running 1 or 2 Ultra AC 5s just for the heck of it.
You know, it's a lot of fun, I say. I think I'm trying like a 2 UAC 5, 2 medium laser summoner. Been a lot of fun. I don't know, I've always liked Daka, and clan autocannons especially are, like you said, you know, kind of like LRMs in terms of the screen shake. It's just very disorienting.
Absolutely. I think that definitely inner sphere autocannons are skewed towards in terms of power, towards the AC5 and Ultra AC5. Certainly the AC10s, the AC20s need a little bit of a buff, or maybe a bit of an adjustment eventually, especially with the drop. But you're seeing that, you know, even mechs like the Banshees, you know, they're just going for the AC5s. We saw that also in the last you know, weekend tournament when people were taking out their Ilion Miromats, and people were taking out the AC5 and the Ultra AC5s. You don't see a lot of the AC10s and AC20s, you know, except perhaps in the Centurion and the Hunchback 4G, especially in the assault mechs, just because, you know, it just doesn't have that constant DPS that you need at the higher levels of play.
Definitely. I mean, it's basically heat-free DPS. That's what it comes down to. Is, you know, some people were saying, well, I'm kind of surprised that the Ilya's on top. It's like, well, think about how tournaments go, you know, for basically you end up with just a few rounds that you got totally ignored and everything worked out in your way. I mean, sure, you have to earn it, you have to take advantage, but most of those rounds, you just can't have them every round. The conditions aren't right, but when the conditions are right, and you're in one of those mechs and you get ignored, you never have to cool off. You know, unlike other things which have limited damage over time, you can just sit there and mow people down. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's one of the nice parts about this game is that, you know, every weapon has its place here. You've got energy weapons that are like no ammo, but, you know, they do a lot of heat. You need to use up and using your heat capacity very quickly, and you got your ballistics that do damage, but of course they end up requiring ammo. There's a risk of ammo explosion and so forth, but they use less of your heat capacity, so you got to balance it off. This game does require you to kind of plan out your weaponry, plan out what type of engagement you want to do. And what we're starting to see now, which is great in terms of scene, is we don't just have one meta going on. We don't have the pop long range sniping anymore. We actually have, you know, some brawling metas that are coming out, and we also see the long range sniping meta as well. And that's nice to see the varieties, and hopefully what will happen if the balance gets really adjusted finally, you know, one will be countered by another. It's going to be a kind of a rock, paper, scissors, and then you got to make major decisions, strategic decisions, and really position yourself well, because if you get caught off guard, brawling is going to be stronger, but if you're caught off guard when you're brawling, you know, your sniping is going to be stronger. That's ideally what we'd like to see, and, you know, the game's really close to that right now.
Definitely, and since map design has, well, some maps have improved and other maps have not. I don't know. They're pretty hit or miss with maps, because, you know, you get, you know, a winner like Tourmaline or Crimson Strait, and you're like, oh, it's all gonna be better, and then you see like Terra Therma or, you know, Alpine, and it's like, oh god, make it stop.
Well,
But,
you know, we are getting River City 2.0, so I mean, there's a lot of interest in that new map, just seeing what will happen. And yeah, I imagine these maps. I mean, you could always take the easy road where you could simply like, you know, design half a map and then flip it over, and you have perfectly symmetrical maps. And you know, that just wasn't the style of what they designed. But naturally, when you have asymmetrical maps, you're going to have, you know, strength and weaknesses of each map. But you're seeing with the really good teams, they're making decisions. You know, Crimson Strait's a great map. I think that shows that you can have an asymmetrical map that has multiple positions that you can do. You have tunnel rushes, you have D2 Island, you've got E6, I'm going to call it Trev Hill, back there as well. And you know, even up into the Alpha 5, Alpha 6, these are nice open areas in the water where, you know, teams often go when they need to counter ambushes and so forth. We're seeing that a lot more in the pugs, you know, where you can just call it out and you create a fine line out in the open areas. I actually quite like Crimson Strait. I think it's got a lot of variety. I think it really rewards good and skilled light playing for scouting, and I think that's the ideal direction that all the maps should be going. Reward your lights for scouting well, and then make sure that your mediums, heavies, and assaults are well positioned on the map.
you know, I just want to throw this idea out here again because every time I've heard it suggested, I thought it was phenomenal. As a way to improve rewards and purpose for scouting, on the scoreboard, like when you hold tab, when it you know, brings up all the enemy player names and whatever, if someone has been scouted, their chassis should show up on the scoreboard, and you should get a point if you're, you know, some reward or whatever, if you're the first person to scout a mech, to like figure out what chassis it actually is. That would be like totally useful thing for scouts to do. Even in pug games, you could look up there after half the match and see exactly what you're fighting against instead of, oh god, it's a direwolf around the corner. Speaking of which, we are in match now, so dropping on Mango.
I agree with that. That'll be interesting to see. You know, maybe that will be something they can integrate into like the C3 computer system. Who knows? But let's get into the match right now. Second drop. Let's go. All right, Mango's in his yellow wang there. It's the first mech I see.
That makes me excited.
Yen Lows.
Fire starters, Yen Lows, and what else? Yen Lows. So many Yen Lows. They've also, interesting choice, they've got 3 direwolves in the way far away spawn. I don't know how that's going to work out, but wow. I don't know that I've seen so much Wang in a competitive match. CSJ going for the hill.
Yep, and CSJ's got their classic direwolves. They've got their storm crows. They've got their fire stars. They're taking more of a typical meta build right now.
Yeah, and I assume it's just large pulse laser Gauss vomit in the Timberwolves and Direwolves, and in the Stormcrows is probably medium lasers and Gauss.
Absolutely, you can see Lil there and his Hellbringer, and they're actually moving up to Trev Hill. This is one of the points that I think Lord CMP have discussed in the past, and it's a fantastic position here. It's very hard, and they're just setting up. This is playing to CSJ's strength. I mean, they're fantastic snipers. Very few teams would ever want to snipe on them, and here they are, position themselves up for one of the hardest positions on the map to actually approach and to attack.
Yeah, and I definitely have seen Imperial use this, and for everybody that's watching, because, you know, a tie effectively results in a win for both teams, like a point for each team. There's no reason for AS to sit here and give them a point and draw it out for the most part. So the burden to push is gonna be on them. And I think they're just
here. Sorry, you can just see here at D5 saddle here that the lights Dario, for example, are just leading up, trying to get a little bit of attention, trying to get some information where they might go in. But more importantly, you know, what he's really doing is he can actually be a bit of a bait here. You can look back down at the bottom there, and you can see the Esoteric and his Direwolf. The other Direwolf's up high. They have great positioning right now. Anything that happens to the Firestars, if anyone tries to attack them, overextends, they're just going to face a huge amount of firepower. This is
Yep.
one of the classic teachings we did in Chaos, was to make sure that at the time we were with the Raven 3Ls, we're always in line of our Cataphract 3Ds, so that we'd always have a nice straight line. And as we approach, we would position each other relative to each other, so that if we ever did get engaged on with the enemy lights, we would have a couple of shots from our own Cataphracts to back us up. It only took 1 or 2 hits, and those lights would be damaged, and we could take an easy 1-2 kill advantage.
And you see Antares Scorpions basically setting up to push over ridge. Their direwolves are just slowly waddling over there, trying
First
to
shots are
get
on
in
Sleipnir
position.
at the far starter. He's over by the water side, and he's left a UAV up. But he was seen, and he's taken a few hits here. He's down to 96. Nothing much. Just a little tap on the ass to say, come on, go back to your team.
And I believe CSJ Solitude has seen what they're doing and where their main force is. But
Yeah, I mean, AS is just positioned here right underneath the structures right now, and they're just making a decision. I mean, they're 1 down, so I believe they're going to have to be the more aggressors here. Their Darwolves are starting to move up, but they've got, Firestarter A's, not much range there, and Yun Lows. These guys have to close in. It's aggressive. It's an aggressive choice of mechs here.
yep, they're either getting really formed up and talking about how this is going to go down, or alternatively, they're thinking about taking the tie and thinking that it would be better to take a tie and both gain a point than just lose one and be down 2-0.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, they've got 10 minutes, so they've already used up about 3.5 minutes so far. So there's not a lot of time left here.
And I don't see anybody
decided to
making
do?
a move. It's going to
No.
be really hard for AS because as soon as they start charging, those fire starters are just going to be all over them. It's going to be a
Absolutely.
real scramble.
You're looking at CSJ here right now. They've got their Stormcrows up high with their Direwolves. Yeah, they've got 1 Hellbringer given an ECM. ECM wins matches, so they take one. They don't want anyone getting easy locks on them. So you're going to be facing Gauss, large pulse lasers. Yeah, I imagine these are all going to be medium lasers, Gauss, large pulse lasers, Gauss, all long range here. And you can see over on the side here now, we're getting a little bit of movement with the Firestarter A's. It looks like AS are trying to position their Firestarter A's to move in. That's some smart movement there. They've got 2 Firestarter A's over by the water side.
Yeah, I'm
What are they
definitely
trying to do?
questioning like AS's choice of map side on this one because even if, AS is
Yep,
push.
they're making AS is making the move. Their Firestars are coming around. They're timing. This is a great timing push by them right now. Obviously, the Firestars are going to try and close in, while CSJ is facing the D5 ridge here. They're going to time it.
One already down. Wow, that was like a headshot or just something brutal. Yep.
Well, Zephex is down here. Look at the
Mango
where
goes down.
Slipnir and Emphas on their Firestar A's. These are great little mechs.
A third down for AS.
Huge alphas, good heat, but no range. I mean, this is all about, wow, they're taking absurdity from behind. Good work with these Firestarter A's. This goes to show that you can have some great balance, lack of range, lots of firepower. Nice work. Yellows are moved in as well.
They're there, but they're weak. It's 5-1 in CSJ's favor. 7-1. It is definitely going to go to them. This defensive position just too strong.
Yeah, absolutely. DSJ is making it for last week. They're coming out with quite a good show here. Good positioning, good focus fire. They're already 7 up now. This doesn't look good. They're 8 up. This is the done deal now. They're just going to start cleaning up here.
And the
we're gonna
remaining
go up
mechs
2-0.
are all spread. Oh, only 2 left.
One more, and then we're done. 2-0 for CSJ. Let's see what the scoreboard says, Bill.
And you see 2 right off the bat getting 0 damage for AS. Mango was the third to die, getting only 20. You know, you see some of them getting some good numbers, 488, 476, incredible, you know, 547. It's incredible to pull off those kind of numbers with that kind of push, but then you look at CSJ and it's just consistency across the board. Did a great job. The lights did a great job cleaning up the stragglers, and the main force, of course, put out the majority of the damage. Pasha Osis with that kill right off the bat. I don't know if that was a headshot or if that was I don't know what the hell that was, but he's getting 500 MC, and so is Arnold Schwarzenegger for pulling off 547 on that. I don't know how that happened.
In a yellow.
I know, right?
Yellow.
On that kind of a match, so I'm going to give both of them that, and I should probably give out the mech bay that I promised to give out a little bit ago. So, Mav, I guess you take us through the match recap. I'm going to get map tactics up here and leave you to your own devices for a couple of minutes here.
Alright, I'll try logging in here and see what's going on here.
I think people have figured out that I've censored pants on my channel. Because people, I see swear words where people would just be typing pants, and yes, pants and sober are the two words that are censored on my channel, so please don't say those.
Fair enough here. So I'm going to need your help here just quickly with map tactic, because I can't seem to find any of the settings to draw on it.
Alright, so I've got two winners. It's Mr. Burns, or Mr. Burns 2. Typed that wrong. Damn it. Mr. Burns 2. So, Mr. Burns 2 and MW Warlock, you win. You are the winners of the mech bays, and I will write down the 500 MC stuff as well.
Great stuff, congrats guys.
And viewers, if anyone thinks that somebody like retroactively deserves 500 MC, like they did something amazing and I missed it, like you've been watching videos or something, bug me, let me know. We have too many 500 MC packs, so if you think someone's done something awesome that should have qualified, then please bug me, not on the stream chat because I will probably not see it, but find me on Reddit, find me on the forums, you know, find me on the street, whatever.
Let me know when you're ready to do the recap, Bill. And we'll go through the whole match.
You just go for it. Just go ahead and start. I gotta do.
Oh, for some reason it's not working for me, so I'll try.
Shit. I forgot to give you control. Alright,
awesome.
try it again.
Alright, we'll clear the canvas for everyone.
Viewers. No, not my penis.
So hey guys, so we're going to talk initially about the initial setup approach, and we got a bit of time here. So what we saw, first off, we saw that down at Echo 6 here on the side here. We had Clan Smoke Jaguar position themselves here. Specifically, they actually had their lights, which will be in purple, over here at the D5 hill. This is one of the most common scouting grounds that you'll see for any lights, for any positions, especially say at Foxtrot 2, or say by C7. This is where the lights will commonly go, and you'll see them call out anyone at Saddle, anyone at D Delta 5. And they moved themselves all the way up here. What was really good to see was that as the lights moved up closer towards Delta 4 here, you could see that they had a good firing line from their direwolves right behind them, and the Stormcrows that were essentially positioned right at this part on the blue, right up through here. And this was good because this made sure that all their lights here were under constant fire within the range of their Gauss large lasers and medium lasers. They could essentially try to draw anything out, and hopefully that's what you ideally try to do, is get a few mechs to kind of go after you, overextend, and get a couple quick kills right off the bat. However, Antares Scorpions playing really smart, didn't do that. They initially sent a couple of their lights, or one of their lights actually over to the Charlie 5 region, which you'll see in this circle over here, and he actually laid out a UAV trying to catch any movements by CSJ. They weren't quite sure if they're going to move. Typically, we often see mechs move out into the Delta 1 island on the opposite side, or we'll see mechs move into the Bravo 5 city side. CSJ did none of that. They actually went down again into the Echo 6, what I call Trev's Hill there. Antares Scorpion on the opposite side decided to position themselves initially quite conservatively over by Charlie 3 down to Delta 4 underneath the platform in this area here. With their Yanlo Wangs and with their Direwolves, this is a very long range. These are not long range mechs, they're actually quite short range, and they're essentially brawling. So they had to take cover in case they got sniped from anywhere else on the map, and for there they waited for a while. Antares Scorpions decided then to move two of their fire stars, 1 and 2, over to the side here, and at the same time they set themselves up from a Delta 4 push, hopefully to penetrate into this position here. We saw them move in with their Direwolves, their Yenlos. Meanwhile, the fire star A's came way down and to hit one of CSJ's Stormcrows. From there, the match went on until CSJ eventually won out, and that was our match. It was very good movement, great positioning, and it played to the advantage of CSJ, well known as a sniper group. That said, Antares Scorpion showed a lot of discipline. They waited, they got good scouting, they knew what they needed to do, but unfortunately right now, I think currently in the current meta, the brawling just isn't quite strong enough. Right now, it just can't counter a really good sniping team just because things take too long. We need to see some sort of adjustment either in terms of the mechs, in terms of their armor, maybe in terms of their cooldown, or even a heat reduction, so that brawling becomes a little bit stronger. It's probably not a major adjustment. We probably need about a 10% adjustments in some direction or another, and we'll see brawling able to counter sniping if they move into. Again, this all came down to good light calling. Unfortunately, Antares Scorpion, with their full brawling, full committed deck, didn't allow for any sort of counter movements, counter push, or so forth. They had to come in. They couldn't play an alternate type game, a medium range game, or say a long range game. And that's what happens when you go all in. Back to you, Bill.
Well, that was a pretty good recap, and honestly, it was just one of those things where I don't think AS remembered that position existed, because there's just no good way to attack it. Like, once a team is set up there and they don't have to push out, they can just sit there. It's one of the strongest, if not the strongest defensive position in the game. I mean, I just don't think there's any way to climb up there. Either PG Guy needs to fix that part of the map and just make it less amazing, or, you know, you got to just pick the other side and gamble on your chances. But I don't think there was any way they could have won. I just even if they had a trading deck that wasn't so brawly with the position that CSJ had, I just don't know that it would have mattered. They probably could have done it if they really would have timed the ridge crest, you know, as well as they could have. But it's just such a tough position to approach. CSJ played it absolutely right, and
well, I think there is a counter maneuver, but it's very difficult. It does need a slight adjustment in that, but if you look at the Charlie 6, Charlie 7 area on the map here, these buildings, if they were a little bit wider, a little bit taller, for example, you could get a little bit more cover fire. And if this position along the side here is a little bit wider, you could create a counter firing line that could actually come in, face and kind of maybe face the hill here. What's going on here? All right, and face it towards this direction here. That's ideally what you need here, is just have a nice good cover fire in the little hill buildings here at between C6 and C7, and a little bit wider, flatter area here from basically Bravo 7 to Delta 7. You could create a kind of counter firing line there. That could actually work there. But again, you got to have like a medium range to long range, and you've got to move very well coordinated. The unfortunate part is around Charlie 6 or so, you really get exposed to fire right through this area here. So something would have to be done with the areas through this direction here in green to give a little bit more cover. Otherwise, you could have an actual counter position to that Echo 6 Trev's Hill position.
Yeah, it could definitely work. Although I will say that with AS's drop deck, I don't think it was ever going to happen because they had too much brawl. But yeah, theoretically, if you could get your stuff behind there, you could do a lot of damage. I believe they have dropped into round, so gonna launch on Mango again.
Great, well, go ahead. I agree with you. Unfortunately, right now, I just can't see how brawling can really counteract that one position. It's got to be a medium or a long range drop deck.
Yep, Crimson Straight's good for brawling, but only if they don't get set up in a couple of those positions.
Yeah, and that's why we have a variety of mechs, right? We have a variety of maps.
So we see AS over here in blue, CSJ over there in red. AS has got a Stalker, 2 Dire Wolves, and do I see Thunderbolts? I do. I see 3 Thunderbolts, I see 3 Raven 2Xs, and I see 3 Shadowhawk 2Ks. I believe those are the one that you can do 3 ER large lasers. So it seems like they're going to try to out CSJ.
Absolutely, and on the west side of the map here we have CFJ taking the typical drop. Again, standard meta with 3 5-star S's, Stormcrows, Timberwolves, and some Direwolves. They're all moving up. This is a very, very heavy drop here with 3 Direwolves, a couple of Stormcrows, and again 3 Timberwolves, and then 3 5-stars. This is going to big pound out match.
Definitely. I think AS has got the better side of the map, for sure. I guess it's up to debate, but I always like having the city side of the map, not only just because you prevent the other team from taking that one position on skirmish, but I just like having cover in those buildings. CSJ is just content to trade.
We got some engagements now on Delta 4. The 3 Firestars of CSJ met up with half the group at Delta 5 of AS. They quickly got out of there. They just decided to leave a UAV and get out of there. That's good movement here. I actually kind of disagree a little bit. I might actually say I liked CSJ's position because they can move out to the island. And again, they're ahead, so they can set up position and just wait for them. Well, we have Iron already moving up into the backsides of Bravo 3's Direwolves here. AS doesn't even know they're there. Oh, he's taking his first shots and he's going to make them turn.
Oh man, Xerix is really trapped here. I don't know why these 2 mechs are so stranded, but they are not looking good. I think CSJ knows that they're split and they're moving in now. It is not going to go well for AS here. I don't know why they decided to split up, but they are way too committed out towards the water.
Yep. CSJ is moving in. Their Firestars were really aggressive moving in, and they've taken a little bit of damage there. As CSJ is moving in, but so far CSJ's got 2 kills already.
AS flanking the Direwolves now. They're putting a lot of large lasers on their back, so we're going to see those Direwolves probably go down quickly, or at least be taken out of the fight, but can AS last? Ovenroot taking a ton of damage in that Direwolf, way up alone. Bowser at 77% in his. He's not looking good. We're going to try to get in on him.
Well, there's a push now from Delta 2, Delta 3 in the water, but AS are hitting up
3 down for AS.
The Direwolves in the rear of CSJ's. Take a look, they're swarming Delta 2 right now. Wow, look at them go. They're already on
5 down
neurotoxic.
for AS.
Esoteric's Direwolf isn't looking too good there, and they've taken advantage of him. They've left him alone. Dario and the Iron and their Firestars are coming back to help out, but they're kind of spread out here. I'd actually kind of suggest to Dario and Iron that they should regroup with the team here.
Yeah, at this point I think they're playing risky because they know they've got it. They've got so many fresh mechs that it's hard to conceive any way that AS can pull out of this with such a light remaining force. Only a Lance left, less than that, just a Shadowhawk and 3 Ravens, so...
Pasha did a really great maneuver in his Direwolf. As soon as he saw that push come in from the side, he ran onto the water to get cover fire from the rest of the team that could do a full 180 and come back to him. He's still up there. That was a good decision making on his part. Right now we got CSJ starting to swarm them. They're coming around the corners now. Dario and Iron just took out one of the Ravens. They're going to work on the next Ravens, only at 39%. You got Arnold at the back there at 80%. Yeah. One more to go.
Schwarzenegger, the last one left in that Raven 2X, and this series is going to go to CSJ 3-0.
Wow. You know, I think this goes to show
how
strong the teams are. No. No, did you?
Yep. Well, whatever. Shit happens, kids.
Well, we can just go over the scoreboard at the very least right now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly an exciting match. It was sort of a head-scratching strategy from AS to split up like that, but I am sorry, viewers.
Well, it's hard. It's not easy streaming, Bill. I have to say, hats off to you. I've tried doing the other side where you have to control the overlays, the maps, talk to each other, handle handle the chat box. It's really, really difficult. I wish there was an automatic way to deal with it, because you have to remember so many things. I tried it once with you. I tried setting up all those overlays. It took me like 2 hours to set it all up. After you'd already prepped it for days doing this, so it happens, and I think people understand just how hard it is to do, and people still appreciate your enthusiasm and all your hard work you're doing.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Shit happens. Can't fix the past, but damage numbers, you see, pretty good damage numbers from AS considering, but I just think it was doomed from the start. I don't think there was really any hope, and I think that just seeing it on a map replay will sort of explain. I don't know. I think that, it was a ballsy call by AS. They were doing something sneaky. They wanted to kite. Maybe they thought that CSJ wasn't going to push in, but CSJ scouted, and they knew. They knew they were split, and they took them out.
They definitely did that. And that's the thing. It's not a bad thing sometimes to split up your team. It's just a question of, can they get back to each other, or do they have line of sight where they actually shoot and cover each other? Again, a great example is we had Pasha positioned over on Charlie 2 here by himself. He had another Darrell Esoteric on the back. Great firing line straight up to Bravo 2 to Bravo 3, exactly where CSJ was intending to go. They were making a front, moving up. And yeah, they were doing a great job. They could counter anything that would come to the sides. They were doing great shots. It's exactly what they wanted their Darwells to be positioned at, and the great advantage. That said, you had the light and medium push coming from Antares Scorpion that hit Esoteric right away, and that was the first kill and the only kill they got. And that was good. That was good. But the problem was that they were so far away from their main group in Bravo 3. They didn't have enough range on their their lasers, or their ER lasers, or large lasers, whichever they were taking, to cover their own team at Bravo 3. More importantly, they allowed for the lights of CSJ to get all the way to the backside of Bravo 3 before they even engaged. They needed to be aware of that. They needed to see that before it happened, and they needed to take advantage and pounce on them, and they didn't happen. Ideally, what we would have saw is we would have saw the lights. Would have seen the lights of Antares Scorpion.
Yeah.
Onto the yellow. I'm getting pokes right now.
I know.
Too.
Who isn't
Thanks,
poking
guys.
me? Like, please, there's no point in poking me or telling me overlay. It's 5 minutes in the past. Believe me, I wish that I didn't have to delay, but I do, so...
Yeah, if we can quote the immortal orcs of Warcraft, stop touching me. But yeah, so what we're getting to is that if we had the lights of AS and blue here, if they had actually intercepted the yellow line of the Firestarter S's of Iron and Dario early, taking advantage, gotten some quick hits like they did initially at Delta 4 right at the beginning of the map, that's what you wanted to do. But they were too hesitant. They weren't moving in. They needed to move up, get into like a position at Charlie 4, maybe Charlie 3. Right away, identify where the Darwells were, and then pounce on them, and not allow their the opposing team's Firestarters to get in on their Darwells. Once their Darwells have to worry about their back, and they've got to turn around, these mechs are basically useless. Your Darwell looking in the wrong direction isn't shooting. Simple as that. Once it's shooting, it's a 100-ton mech not doing any damage. It's back scout really quickly. These are easy mechs to deal with when they're alone. They're great mechs as part of a team. They're fantastic. I love the fact that they're super slow, super powerful, exactly what an assault should be, but they got a very, very big weakness, a huge glaring flare. And that is simply, if you get on their backside with the light, they're toast, and it's rock, paper, scissors, and I like it. I really like it.
Yeah. They, I think another thing, like I said, early on, one of CSJ's, or two, or maybe it was their whole Firestarter crew, scouted that Ridge group. And I think that was what really put the nail in the coffin early, because they saw, hey, you've got 6 mechs over here at Ridge. That means whoever we see elsewhere is not with them. They're totally alone. They were just too split up. And, besides just the hesitancy, I don't know that they could have regrouped fast enough, because CSJ didn't waste any time pushing across the water. I mean, those direwolves might have gotten caught out. They might have had a harder time with it. But, man, with that Thunderbolt and Stalker just getting taken out so early, I have to question whether they had a chance at the point where it was split up.
Absolutely. Well, I'm liking to see the choices of mechs, the variety of mechs that AS took. You know, the Ravens are really nice. You've got a variety of Ravens. They're in a good position now, where they can really run the large laser builds and do kind of a poking sort of style. And you've got the Firestars, which are short range to ultra short range with the A's, and they have more of a brawling style. It's great. You can kind of choose the different mechs for different situations. That said, you know, in this case, if you're going to do the long-range poking style of a Raven, I think you need to be closer as a group. You need to kind of deathball it up. If you're going to be brawling and so forth, yeah, you can kind of spread it out a little bit more and support your team. But remember, you got to be able to protect your team. You both have to have fire lines on each other so that nothing gets through.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a strategy with a lot of kiting. I just don't think you can do it in that 3-3-3-3 format where you have to have slow mechs. You know, I think that it can work out really well to have, you know, Ravens kiting. You know, I don't know if you saw the Antares Scorpion versus Seraphim matches last week, but dropped 2, where they just put a bunch of stalkers on one corner of the map, and then they kited with like 7 or 8 Ravens, and then they split the Ravens up when they started getting chased. It worked really well, but you've got to have the fast mix to do it, and they just had, you know, too many fatties.
Yep, absolutely. You know, it's interesting because you know, the choices of mechs they had here was so different than their last couple of matches. I wonder if Antares Scorpion really had fleshed out their gameplay. You know, if they were really certain this is what they wanted to do. Again, you know, it seemed like they were just off by 1 or 2 quadrants. Maybe if they weren't in Delta 4, but in Charlie 1, sorry, in Charlie 4, you know, they would have been a little bit better positioned. Maybe it was a bit of missed calls and so forth, or maybe, you know, Bravo 3, maybe they were a bit too far back there. You know, once you're in those positions, Bravo 3 there, yeah, you've got cover fire, but one of the problems, again, is you can't concentrate your firepower on one single mech when you're behind cover. So again, the idea of a firing line, do you have a lot of people that can shoot the same target at once, or do you take cover individually? You gotta wonder what they're planning to do there. Maybe they're intending to push out together. Who knows? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because, you know, with CSJ on the... Can you really get the shots you need from, like, the B3, B4 ridge up there? You know, I feel like they would have at least been better off in Charlie 3 because they could regroup with their main force. I think that being, you know, the Bravo 2 side of that hill was not a good plan.
Well, yeah, actually, you're right. There is an interesting position just between Bravo 3 and Charlie 4 and this line right here, where you can create a firing line, and it's actually a kill box, anything that comes through Epsilon through there. Yeah, that could have been a nicer position. I think that would have been a better position to start off with. You know, they could return fire, and then they could have actually been closer to their lights for a bit of cover as well. In fact, they could have actually moved it quickly, and maybe a few of them got a few shots off on Esoteric, and that would have forced actually Smoke Jaguar, if they had actually come through the water through Charlie 2, they would have to come through the city there, and again they'd be going down lanes, you know, where they'd have to kind of follow through one by one. In fact, you saw that with CSJ; they were really pushing quickly, and they got spread out into a long straight line. Again, it was an ideal movement by CSJ. They weren't perfect in this match, you know, not at all. You could definitely see through the match. They were a little bit out of position. You know, they were in a straight line, so they weren't maximizing their firepower. It wasn't until they got into kind of into like a full-out brawl fest in Bravo 2, Bravo 3 that the rest of the mechs went down. And then you got to remember that your mechs are moving at different speeds, so sometimes you got to slow it down so the guys can catch up and keep your formations. Be really tight, shoulder to shoulder, form like a little bit of a delta formation that you guys can all concentrate firepower. It was a little bit sloppy there, and again, I think it goes to show just how strong the very top teams are. When you get in an excellent team like CSJ going like O3 versus SGR, and they're amazing. These guys are great teams, but the competition is fierce at the very top right now, and that's what we're seeing here.
Definitely, I'm just sending out some mech bays. Our last winners for the day are Lurch98 and Silver Fox AS. Congratulations. And of course, we've also got the 500 MC awards going to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pasha Osis, I want to say, for their performances in Drop 2. That was pretty awesome. So, good series, and I'm excited to see QQ face off against 228th on Monday night. That's definitely going to be a good set of games as well.
Definitely a lot of fun to watch. You guys always bring something new and interesting, and you know, after playing with you guys sometimes, I just don't understand how you guys do it. I mean, I don't mean that offensively, Bill. Don't take it the wrong way.
I know.
Just
I know.
sometimes I just sit there and I go, I don't understand. I just don't understand. You know, it must be my old age or something. I don't know. But at least you guys are having fun doing it, right?
Yeah, no, we're definitely, you know, huge credit to Carp. Big shout out to him for doing all the things that I should do as.
Hey, Carp.
Yeah. So
You guys are like the unicorns of love. Do you watch LOL
I don't. What is that?
online? That's who you guys are. Seriously. You guys bring all these unorthodox plays. We never know how or what you guys are doing. Somehow you guys just pull it off. Seriously, you guys are unicorns of love.
You know, I gotta say, we've always sort of been like that in the competitive scene. You know, long ago when Assault was the dominant competitive mode, QQ really had a reputation for the sneaky capture to pull it out. And a lot of people didn't like it, but you know what? Defend your base. Yeah, I've always appreciated our competitive team. Carp's always kept it together, and he keeps, you know, pushing them forward. They've pulled off 2 good upsets now, and I'm excited to see them continue down that path.
You know, that is one thing I really wish, you know, if PJ could put back in the old classic Assault, or just call it another game mode, like a 4th game mode. Honestly, that was a fantastic strategic game mode. It was awesome. You know, you could literally have a perfect time. You knew exactly how fast a certain light, like the Raven threat, would hit your base at if you went out of position, and you're always left with these really difficult decisions. Do you send one or your whole light lance back to defend your base? You know, do you go for a base push and you just cap it? I mean, there were these edge, like nail-biter matches where you just win, or 2 bases being capped at the same time. You know, those were great matches. I miss those days. Honestly, that would be a great 4th game mode. I hope they put it back in. It's fantastic. It was a lot of fun, and I'd love to see it get back into the tournament scene. It's simple, but man, it adds a lot of depth to the strategies. And you can't just camp anymore. That's exactly where Trev's Hill here at Echo 6 would have been completely nullified if you could capture the base. You can't do that. You can't stay in one static position, and this is what we're seeing now with the current game modes. When you don't have the ability to capture the base as easily, this is what ends up happening. So yeah, I miss the older classic Assault. I hope they bring it back. Maybe they can call it, like, I don't know, CTF or something, like Capture the Flag, or King of the Hill or something like that. Something like that. Just bring in another game mode. It's easy, but man, it's fantastic. And again, it gives light players something to do. Lights don't always bring a lot of firepower to the field, but they bring a lot of information gathering, and you know, if they can capture, that's another skill they bring in too. So again, the more depth this game has, the better it's going to be for the long run.
I agree, and Russ actually said on Twitter they were talking about redesigning Assault and maybe making it asymmetrical or something like that. I don't know that that's really the way to go with it, but you know, something to put. I mean, because Assault right now is just like, don't go near this part of the map on skirmish. Like, that's it. Because it's like, who wants to deal with turrets? Screw that. I've had maybe 1 out of my last 100 Assault rounds be captured out. So I didn't like the back cap of the old day. You know, those matches on River City where literally it would just be both teams were NASCAR right, and then it's those were terrible. But for competitive play, it was a good mode. It really was. It made you think about stuff. So yep, hoping PGI thinks about that one. If Russ Bullock is still in channel, and he probably is not, but if he is, you should totally get that back. So I guess we might as well wrap this up. Mav, you want to do some shout-outs?
Yeah, let's do all the shouts to the teams out there, all the guys who've been playing. God, I'm trying to remember all the teams off. We've got, like, you got T-Cop. Can we remember all of these? Can we remember all the teams?
I can, because I have them up in front of me. Hang on, are you ready for it? Phoenix Company, Eisengrim, Seraphim, Rising Storm, New Texas Mercenaries, Restless Adder, Apocalypse Lancers, Tikhonov Commonalty Armed Forces, Ransom's Corsairs, Stratagame, Mercenary Corporation and Affiliates, Marine Mechs, Comstar Regulars, Deathhand Brigade, Nightwatch Merc Coalition, Inferno Express, Mercstar Turret Drops, Second Federated Sons, Imperial, QQ Mercenary Corporation, 228th IBR Black Watch, Antares Scorpions, Steel Jaguar, 228th IBR Swamp Foxes, Clan Smoke Jaguar, and finally, Mercstar Axis of Ignorance.
Awesome, man. Because honestly, we wouldn't have this tournament going if we didn't have participation from everyone. And what we really hope everyone gets involved in these organized teams. The game's just so much more fun when you're part of a team. Yeah, solo queue is a big part of it, but you know, this has always been about the community. So guys, get involved in your teams. Don't forget things like NGTV. They got their public servers. You've got Comstar out there as well, Mercstar out there. You got the forums. If you guys haven't checked the forums, most of you guys have, but don't forget it's Reddit /r/outreach HPG. A lot of guys out there, the guys from the forums. There's a lot of good guys helping you out if you have questions about your hardware and so forth. So shout out to Goose and a bunch of the guys who helped me out with my hardware. So thank you guys very much. We definitely need a shout out to PGI, Tina being on in particular. You know, she's the new community manager and she's helped set up a lot of this as well. Who else have we missed? Have we missed anyone else?
Oh man, that's pretty close to it. You know, thanks for both these teams and showing up and playing. I know there were a little bit of scheduling conflict kind of stuff, but it all got worked out and the match got played and got 2 out of 3 shoutcasted. Well, 2.5. So not bad, not bad.
Well, you know, with the delay, it happens. You know, it's unfortunate. So,
it's my trademark. At this point, I can't get away from it. I'll never get away from it. I'm blaming it on Poopinshire. He jinxed me right off the bat, so it's all his fault. Go blame him or something. So I guess that's gonna do it for us. Thank you for tuning in case you missed it and somehow you're just watching now for whatever reason it went to Clan Smoke Jaguar 3.0. I will have the YouTube videos up by the end of the week, and I will post a review this week sometime on Outreach. I will get that done. Week 6 and Week 7 videos with timestamps, all that good stuff. So thanks for tuning in, viewers. And I'm signing.
One last thing. One last thing, homeless, just before we go on. We've got the tournament going on this weekend right now, so guys, don't forget to play some MLMW. Get your summer heat wave. It's awesome. It's like the Christmas, Halloween events where you get all these new prizes. I got like, I think 1,000 MC, a couple of mech bays, a whole bunch of premium time. That's awesome. Go play it. Don't forget to play some community warfare. And there's some new videos out because we got the Clan 3 wave pack coming out. I think we're all pretty excited about the execution and the mask. The mask looks like it's implemented really, really well. Looks amazing. There's some great videos that come out too. I'm trying to remember his name, but they're awesome. What's his name? He does all those awesome new videos and stuff.
Tanayashi.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that guy, seriously, the videos, check out this guy's videos, okay guys? They're awesome. They're really, really good. NGTV's been posting his videos and they're fantastic. He does a great job. And they're just going to show you like the Executioner and the Cauldron Born, and I'm excited for them. I hope you guys are too.
You know what? I want to give a special shout out to Kanayashi as well, because he actually displayed that fixing ghost heat concept that so many people have talked about at various times in one of his videos, and he always does great previews. He shows the stuff that we want to see, you know, jump jet comparisons and speed comparisons and all the things you'd actually want to see. And you know, he writes things really concisely in a great way. He's got a great voice for it, and honestly, I hope PGI just like starts using him and like puts out a bunch of tutorial videos that are linked somehow in the game or included in the game files, because he'd be good at it. And yeah, and one more thing on the Executioner is, does anybody else just see the clown from Madness Combat in its face? Like, I'm gonna link it in chat right now, okay? Look at this. That clown's face and the Executioner's face, they're the same fucking thing. All I can think of is Madness Clown, and so what I want to do is, PGI please, I want clown hair for my mech, and I want that for 2 reasons. I want that A, for my Executioner, and B, for a Ronald McDonald Atlas. Make it happen. Yeah.
Let's do a couple of final shoutouts to all the guys in the community have been posting videos. I know we've got Salama's making some videos. We got Soy, some really interesting videos.
Love Soy stuff. So eclectic. I dig.
Very eclectic, fun, but this is what we need. I mean, this is the stuff that makes people interested, so don't forget to check it out. Don't forget Zuffaluf. I'm always amazed how this guy just pulls out the craziest stuff. That guy's such a good pilot. But he's got some great videos out there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff also for new players. You know, we kind of forget about new players coming to this game, but don't forget, you know, as we get new players into it, I just got a friend into it, and I just realized how complex this game is. So if you go to new player help area, guys, check out all the videos and forums, forum help that people are doing there, and helping new players get into this game, because this is actually a lot harder game than we realize. It's super nerdy mech and robot games, guys. But you know, all this stuff is helping new players get in the game, and we need that too. So
Yeah,
we need
you don't
competition.
really realize until you start trying to explain to someone. You're like, you know, you start explaining one thing, and then you're like, wait a minute. But I need. It's like going through Wikipedia, where you know you start trying to read about one concept, but then you encounter another unfamiliar concept, and so you click on that to give yourself some context, and then it's like, wait a minute. I don't understand this now because it's just layers and layers and none of it's explained. And you know, that is why I'm fighting this big crusade to get the champion mechs rebuilt. And that is allegedly happening maybe sometime in July. That's when they keep saying. So I'm going to hold them to that. Please, PGI, really follow through on that. And I will be pushing clan champion mechs next because, oh my god, those poor people in community warfare running like the LBX-5 Gargoyle, the LRM-10 Streakform machine gun Mistlinks. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, well, definitely, guys, if you're new, you got friends coming into it, check out the new player section of the forums. Some great guys like Konavig, guys like Iraqi, and a whole bunch of these guys here have been helping a lot of people for years and years. So
Kinetics' guide, I'm plugging that. Kinetics' guide is so huge.
Yes. Very good. Again, thanks to you guys for making all this stuff happen and helping people get into this game.
Well,
okay,
I feel like
shout-out.
Yeah, that was like as many shout-outs as much time as we spent casting. I feel like this just like turned into a podcast halfway through, but that's not necessarily bad.
This is like chest bump time, man. Chest bump time.
Jeez, that would be aggressive.
Can we get the DFAs back into the game? I actually have 3 or 4 DFAs.
Please.
You know, I've crushed a few people with my Highlanders, and I miss that. So please get them into the game. Love that stuff. Okay, we're ending it. This is it.
Yep,
Have a great
that's
night, guys.
it. Thanks, guys.
We're out.
Signing out.
Bye.